Hey everyone! Before we open today's file, please make sure to follow us on Instagram at d.s.radio, where you can find all the images that go along with today's case. You can drop us an email at contact.dsradio@gmail.com. You can find all of our socials in the Linktree bio on our Instagram profile, including links to merch. If you're feeling especially generous, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dystopian simulation radio, where you can get access to our exclusive Instagram page and make suggestions for upcoming episode topics that you would like us to cover. Speaking of Patreon, thanks to our Patreons, Riff Cult, Cropley Crab, Cash Broadus, Raspberry Jr., Jason R. Nelson, Creepy Paper, Jamie Sook, Michael Laughlin, Lindsay Keller, Mike Wright, Greer Weaver, Kelsey Carruthers, Linz Gibbon, Drake Holvig, Only Child, Michael M, Wesley Akers, Riaz K, Emily Medeiros, Pip, Heather Wynn, Graves, Devon Sweatshirt, The Ordained Sinister Minister, and Philip Hoffman.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this special bonus edition of Dystopian Simulation Radio. I'm your host Chris.
And I'm Linz.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm great, and I'm even better because we're coming to you today with a special Brucey bonus episode. I found something very interesting that I want to share with you today. But before we get to that, why don't we tell everybody out there a little bit about our Patreon?
Yeah, so we started a Patreon, I think it was a couple of weeks back, was it, Chris?
Yeah, I think it was about 5 weeks ago.
Oh, 5 weeks, okay, a while back. And so far I have posted, I did a little teaser of an upcoming episode, the cannibal episode. I put some behind the scenes pictures on there. I put a video of Robin and I driving to and from the Cannibal Museum hen house. So yeah, and Chris, you've put a bunch of behind the scenes editing stuff, and you've showed some of your personal items.
Yeah, so I've put quite a few things on there, like showing everybody the process of making an episode. That's one thing that I'm always really interested in, but also I like editing and stuff, so that maybe nobody else cares, I don't know. But if you do care and you want to see what an episode actually looks like when I'm finished with it, or when Linz has finished editing hers, come and have a look. It looks very different to what you'll think it will look like. And as well, put some extra bonus content up there, some pictures, a couple of blogs as well. I recommended some wrestling matches that I think people should go and watch, following on from the Ricky Dozan episode. And one thing that I put up last weekend was a bit of a tour of the United States as the X-Files official map from 1993 tells us, which was a present from you.
Yeah, that was also a surprise to me, to see you showing us this very special map of the US.
I've got more X-Files stuff to show off.
Oh, I know you do.
And right now we've got 2 levels. The first level is just called Early Supporter, and that is in UK money, it's £1. And that's just, if you want to support us at all, everything goes straight back into the podcast, basically. And then we also have another level, which is the £5 Bob's Balls episode. The Bob's Balls level. So if you want to descend down to the level of Bob's Balls, you can do. And if you do venture down to Bob's Balls
and his torn pants.
Yeah. if you avoid his very, very angry wife, you will find a whole host of all those bonus content that we just talked about. So the £1 supporter level is just a sort of token if you want to support the podcast at all, and we really appreciate that. In return, you do get a shout out on the podcast. That's what you heard at the beginning of last week's episode. And also the £5 Bob's Balls level is when you get all the extra content, and you also get that shout out as well. For anybody who's subscribed in the month of May, just be aware that the shout outs are going to be updated monthly. So you'll hear your shout out on the 1st of June. Or whenever.
And if you're wondering what Bob's Balls is, please refer to episode 1
yes.
of Dystopian Simulation Radio, where you will find out all about Bob's Balls, and enjoy that.
Yeah, it's a good episode. I think anyway. It was our first episode we were happy to release. So go and check it out.
An amazing story about an amazing man and his discovery one day. So go listen.
We would love it if you could join us over on Patreon. But if you're just a regular supporter of the podcast, you're just downloading it, we also appreciate you as well. Thank you very much for your support. There are things that you can do. You can follow us on Instagram at d.s.radio. And as well, just sharing us however you can. Leaving a 5-star review.
Yeah, and tell a friend, please.
Tell a friend. Telephone, telegram, tell a friend. Just the more that we can get the podcast out there, the more weirdos we meet like you. So, Linz.
Chris.
I came across something that I just thought would warrant its own bonus episode.
Okay.
Are you aware of freedom of information requests?
I think so.
Okay. I came across a quite interesting, very local one to us.
Right.
So if you're a local listener based in the northeast of England, hi Liddy, then you will probably find this quite entertaining. If not, you might just find it interesting from the perspective of this stuff's actually logged. So I came across a freedom of information request which was granted by Northumbria Police, who are the police force up here where we live in the UK. And it is a list of supernatural incidents that they responded to between 2007 and 2011.
Oh, hell yes.
So what I thought I'd do is I'd just read through these, and I'd like you just to respond to each one. Just before we get off the bat, obviously some of them will not be legitimate, and they may be the result of somebody going through a very tough time. We're not mocking that.
Oh.
We just want to get to the bottom of if any of these are supernatural.
Okay, I shouldn't have laughed at that point. I jumped the gun there. Let's go.
So the first one in North Tyneside was a call where the caller said that people in their street were witches.
Oh, that's definitely the result of someone going through something, I think.
It was filed under witches, and the additional comments were confused caller.
Oh,
The second
I
one.
feel kind of bad about that.
The second one takes place in Newcastle, and it was the caller wanting to inform police that witches were sending them messages to their mind.
Was it the same caller?
There's no information about that, but it's a completely different month. The first one was May, this one's November of the same year, but they're also different districts as well.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe there is a witch problem that we don't know about, because apparently, the church opposite the Korean supermarket.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently there's witch graves there.
Really?
Yes.
Ooh.
Apparently.
I smell a very local road trip.
Mm-hmm.
How do we?
All right, what's number 3? Sorry.
How do we know they're witch graves? Are they marked with a black cat?
No, but they're marked. I believe they're marked.
Oh, okay, cool. So the next one from Newcastle is the caller said that they were abducted 10 years ago and believes that they could have been aliens that did it. Once again.
Okay. Any more information or?
No, this is just it. This is just the call log.
Ah, okay.
So again, filed under aliens, and comment is confused caller. The next one.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at like confused caller.
Yeah.
Another episode of somebody going through a thing, I think.
Or
maybe it was Robin.
So the next one, North Tyneside, caller states that an alien has attacked them. Again, confused caller. And then the next one, the report of 2 UFOs being seen in the sky, that the caller saw 2 red lights following each other in the sky. And,
I think that's a plane.
Well, potentially. That one was filed under UFOs. There's a duplicate incident, red flare in the sky. So,
okay.
multiple reports about this red flare.
What year was that again, sorry?
That was in 2008.
Oh.
So the next one, in January of 2009, a caller states that they have alien beings inside their body. Also, a confused caller.
That is horrifically terrifying. I never thought about that. Like, they can abduct you, you can see them in the sky, but imagine they enter your home and your skin.
The next one, which I just like because of the comment, is from Northumberland, a caller stating that strange symbols are coming up on their television. It was filed under aliens, and the comment is, not a police matter.
So who do you call? Did they? I wonder if they've like referred them to anybody else. Like, oh, I'm sorry, this isn't technically a police matter. Please refer to.
I don't know. The next one was in Newcastle, and it was a caller who stated that they are the Queen. The police and other government and alien authorities were tampering with the electrics in their house and drawing their psychic brainwave powers out of their eyeballs through a channel in their TV.
Oh dear.
That was filed under aliens, and it was recorded for info.
Oh dear.
That one definitely sounds like somebody was having an unfortunate event.
Yeah, that poor person, honestly. It reminds me of those, what are they called? Oh gosh. The targeted individuals, TIs, you know, the people who, they actually have like groups where they all meet and they wear like lead hats and some of them sleep in lead blankets and they're constantly moving, they can't hold down jobs and they believe in similar things.
Yeah.
There's like a couple of documentaries on it. It's really sad and actually it looks very stressful.
Yeah.
So I really feel bad for that caller.
Yeah, they're not going for a good time. And the next one is a series of 5 reports from the 16th of September 2009 through to the 25th of September 2009, all of them reporting that they can see a UFO in the sky in South Tyneside. So the caller states that they are outside a police station and they can see a UFO on the road, and they state that it is there every night from darkness to 3 in the morning. Next time they called up and said they could see it again. The next time they called up to see that they're a UFO at helicopter height, which might give you a hint as to what it is, maybe. It's the 3rd night they've reported it. Again, the 4th time they called in and said only that they could see the call. Only they could see the UFO. And then on the 5th time, they said that they believe it may actually be an intelligence drone.
Okay. And they were standing outside of a police station making this call.
Apparently.
Was it a police officer?
It might have been. The next one is in Northumberland, and it's a caller stating that they can see 8 witches on their roof.
There's a lot of witches.
There's much more witchy stuff going on than I would have thought.
Yeah, I mean, that's strange. Like, I thought we were going to get, like, you know, oh, there's a ghost in my house. Or aliens, yeah, definitely thought you were going to say aliens. But there's a lot of witches.
We haven't done a witch episode.
We haven't.
Maybe. Okay.
Thanks for the inspiration for the next script.
Damn it. Right. The next one is from Sunderland, and it is a caller who's speaking about ghosts not letting them sleep, which is the first ghosts one. Again, filed under confused caller. The next one, we've jumped all the way to 2010 now, is in Newcastle, a report of a UFO. The caller is stating that they have seen an oblong orange and yellow light with 4 spikes of light coming from it. It's filed under UFO, and the comments say possible Chinese lantern.
I haven't had anyone say oblong for a long time.
Oblong.
Oblong.
The next one is in Northumberland, and it's suspicious lights. Caller has been out for a walk this evening and come across a field and states they've seen a UFO in the sky. It's filed under UFO, and the notes say, quite interestingly, caller genuine.
What?
I guess that means it's not a crank call or somebody who's delusional.
Oh,
but
like
that's
a sound of mind person making an observation.
Perhaps aware of the fact that what they're saying is a bit like Bob saying, I know this sounds stupid, but yes, I did have balls attack me.
Do you know what's just occurred to me also? If you saw a UFO or a witch or a ghost, would your first thought be to call the police? What are they going to do then? Like hit a witch with a baton? Like, what are they actually going to do? Write it down. I mean, have you ever...
I don't know. Can you taser a witch? Would that
if
stop them? If
anybody out there knows, can you... I suppose a witch, there's modern people who say they're witches,
Well, you can taser them.
Yeah, you can taser a human. Are you talking about
I'm talking not about somebody who,
those old school witches.
Not somebody who lives their life as a witch. That's fine. That's a different kettle of newts.
Witches.
I'm talking about full blown warts on the nose, black hat, black witch. Cat. Yeah, like crone.
Yeah, can you taser them? I don't think you can. They must be protected from any force that's against them. So if you taser a witch, maybe they just bounce it back at you. Hold up a magic mirror.
Yeah.
And you taser yourself and they're like, ah ha ha, and they fly away.
Can you do that one more time, please?
Ah ha ha. There's no point calling the police against a witch or a ghost. You know what I would do? If I was a cop they called me and said oh, there's a ghost, I'd put my baton back in the sheath. I'd be like, okay, and I'd get out one of those the small hoovers you use to clean cars.
Yes.
Maybe I'll go in with one of those. I don't really know. Maybe a priest, or maybe just some holy water. I don't know. What would you really do? Because anyone who's ever tried to get rid of a ghost cannot get rid of a ghost. So what's a police person is just a person.
True.
With a uniform on. So what are they going to do?
I don't know. Let's find out what they did on the next case.
Oh.
So the next one, Northumberland, a regular caller requested police, fire and ambulance assistance discussing vampires.
Yes, I was going to say, where are the vampires?
Yeah, so this is the first one filed under vampires, and again, confused caller is the note.
But that's scary because it could actually be a man who is physically biting people, not a vampire, but
Mm-hmm.
In zombie movies where they always act like they've never seen a zombie movie in their life, and they're like, what are they? They're biting people and they're angry and they look like they're rotting. And you're like, it's clearly a zombie. Maybe in this
It's the Walking
universe,
Dead.
Yeah. But maybe in these confused people's cases, they're just sort of universe world people, and movie universe people, and they're just I don't know what it is, but it's biting people, but they're just straight up yeah, it's a vampire.
Yeah. The next one, South Tyneside, and this is an abandoned 999 call prior to the connection. However, BT, the British Telecom service, states that somebody called them, who they then patched them through to 999, requesting who to report a UFO to. And when they tried to dial back, the mobile phone was switched off.
Abducted. That's real. That's a real one. That's the most legit one on the list, in my opinion. Again,
filed under UFO. But interestingly, the notes are confused caller, but they never spoke to him or her.
That's maybe you just have to select something on the computer. There's no blank space. They're just
potentially
confused.
Yet there's a space for Chinese lantern.
That's lazy, isn't it?
Okay, the next one, South Tyneside, sighting of the UFO. Caller states that they saw a light in the sky that was white and orange and round like a frisbee. It was heading west.
Ooh,
Again,
I like that one.
Filed under UFO. Interesting. Notes, genuine caller. Possible Chinese lantern.
When was it? When
Was
do you set off a Chinese lantern? When do you float them?
What, Chinese New Year, isn't it? Oh, God, I'm showing my ignorance here. I'm not sure when they are actually set off the top of my head, but I know that people set them off all the time. Anyway,
they do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got a friend who works in the lifeboat services, and they're actually an absolute pain in the neck because people set them off on the beach all the time, and they look like flares.
Oh, okay.
So
it's just a thing people are doing like willy-nilly.
They're like, oh, it's magical, it's beautiful. Why are the Coast Guard here? Anyway, so the next one on the list says it was from Newcastle, and it was a caller stating that they kill vampires for a living.
Maybe it's one of the callers who the police ignored before.
Possibly.
And it was like, oh no, there's vampires here. And then later they called up and they were like, yeah, it's fine. I've been taking care of it.
Well, it was filed under vampires, and again, confused caller. The next one took place in Northumberland. The caller states they are on medication and states that they're seeing ghosts again. That one was filed under ghosts and confused caller, but obviously they clearly state that there's a medical reason why they may be seeing this.
Yeah, it's hallucinations, unfortunately.
The next one was in Gateshead, just report of ghosts. And if you've ever been to Gateshead, that's definitely not the weirdest thing you'll see there. That was filed under ghosts and reported for further information. The next one, we're now up to the last year of reporting, 2011, in Newcastle. Caller reports that they've seen 2 UFOs flying in the sky, filed under UFO comments for info. Now, the next one was in Sunderland. Again, another report of a UFO. Caller witnessed a large black silent disc, filed under UFO, notes caller genuine.
Yeah, I like that one. That's a good one.
There's a lot of UFO reports. Like I always wondered, do people see UFOs? Because you don't really hear that a lot. I mean, you hear like lots of news stories come out of like the States and things like that, but not really, not in old Blighty, not here. But
I think there's more than you probably think there is, but they don't get like hyped up. Mm-hmm. They don't really, I mean, you see it in the newspapers now and again. Mm-hmm. And obviously, if there's that many calls in the Northeast, there's probably calls all over the place.
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting, like when you describe some of them, like the black silent disc, I'm like, this freaked out somebody enough to call the police. Like the few times I've called the police, it's been for really, really serious things that I could not handle. Not, I saw a thing and I was like, wow. Like, I'd have a hard time calling the police. So these callers, the ones that were considered genuine, must have been really freaked out.
Yeah.
To call the police, because I just think, well, what are the police going to do?
Well, exactly.
It's nice to have a record of it, for when I'm selling my story for £500 next month. But or
when 2 idiots want to make a podcast about it.
Yeah, I was looking up some stories today, just like browsing this old 80s book of mysteries that I had, and I was looking at some of them, and some of these stories are hinged on someone just saying they saw a thing and doing a doodle. And there's nothing else really to it. And I'm like, yeah, these calls could have been something like that too.
Wasn't that the entire basis of de Rougemont's episode? Yes, I definitely wrote a turtle. Here's a drawing of it.
Yeah, but I mean, he managed to fabricate and write an entire book on it, which was the kind of impressive part. And he managed to trick some people in high places. So
check out that episode if you haven't heard it on Louis de Rougemont. Is it called The Cannibal King?
Yeah, The Cannibal King, Louis de Rougemont. You'll find it if you scroll the list. But it's a really good episode. And yeah, it's pretty much, it's like one of these calls like that probably grew a life of its own and became something much bigger than it ever should have. So check it out.
So we've got 4 left here. We'll go through these rapid fire. The first one is from Northumberland, concern from an elderly person reporting 4 ghosts in their house.
No.
Filed under ghosts, confused caller. The next one, Gateshead making another appearance. Caller states that he has to leave the house as ghosts are coming out of the walls.
Oh, that is terrifying.
Filed under ghosts, note, intoxicated male.
Oh, no.
Second to last one, Newcastle. Caller has stated that they've just woken up and have seen a UFO and thinks they're hallucinating. Caller also stated they're seeing rats in the house.
Oh, no.
So at least that person is, they're recognizing the fact that they're seeing this and that they might be having a hallucination.
Yeah, they're like, I'm seeing some shit that's probably not there. Please help.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
So UFO filed under confused caller. And the last one is from South Tyneside. Concern for person saying that they're seeing ghosts and spirits, filed under ghosts, confused caller.
Oh, I feel kind of bad for these people because it's like the ones seeing ghosts and stuff. It's like they're so scared, and the only people they can think of calling are the police. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so sad. I
mean, I think the majority of these are probably people having real struggles, and I suppose that the good thing is that they are reaching out for help from somebody.
Yeah.
There's a couple in here though that I do feel are very interesting. The one that's the oblong orange and yellow light with 4 spikes of light coming from it. It doesn't sound like a Chinese lantern. And they're not oblong for one.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they are if you turn them on their side, but they don't float like that.
No. I mean, obviously there's a lot of people seeing UFOs, and I'm just surprised at the volume of that. I mean, I suppose it's a couple a year, which isn't massive, but I'd be interesting to see if there's any further Freedom of Information requests, and I haven't found any more on this. Actually, the only one that I could find that has been published in the whole country was from Northumbria Police, which was just thought was quite a coincidence, as it's where we're from.
Yeah. Chris, I have a little mission for you then.
You're going to send me to make a Freedom of Information request?
Yeah.
Well, I did actually look into it. Because I thought, I'll do this. And it's more difficult than you think it is.
Oh.
You've got to sort of petition it, and it's got to go through a whole sort of, a whole sort of process and be approved and things like that. So I might do it in the future, but at the same time, I don't want to waste police time or anything like that.
I wouldn't call that a waste of time, Chris.
Well, any closing comments before we wrap this up?
That list made me a little bit sad. It was also a little bit funny. And the UFO ones are very interesting. I like that oblong one and the silent black disc. That was really cool. And I like that.
I dislike the amount of witches that there are.
Yes, that's definitely inspired me to dig around for something, some case for a future episode, because you never really think about that.
There's something very unnerving about somebody just calling up and saying, "Hello, there's 8 witches on my roof."
Yes, now that is terrifying. Like, you can just imagine like walking, like steps or scratching or cackling or I don't even know what.
Give me that cackle one more time.
I forgot how I did it.
That'll do. Thank you, everybody, for this. Sorry, I totally cut you off there.
No, I was just going to say thanks, Chris, for finding this list and reading it to me. And if you're local, I'm sure you'll get a kick out of that.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in for this episode today, the special Brucey bonus edition of Dystopian Simulation Radio. We've got our next true episode coming a week today. So that's, if you're listening to this on release day, the following Monday. We're trying to release content every week when we can, but it's not as easy as that all of the time. But we've got a plan in place, and hopefully there's going to be a lot more Dystopian Simulation Radio coming your way very soon. And if you can't wait for that, head over to the Patreon at patreon.com/Dystopian Simulation Radio and sign up for some Bob's Balls.
Yeah, what he said.
Bye!